Luthen Rael was never gonna make it out. Not really. In episode 10 of Andor Season 2, we finally see how far he's willing to go for the rebellion, even if it means sacrificing everything, including himself. The episode opens in broad daylight on Coruscant, a rare and dangerous move. Lonnie Young, Luthen's ISB mole, sends out an emergency signal. He's demanding a face-to-face meeting. That alone tells us everything. Axis has been compromised and the Empire is closing in. Lonnie reveals the truth behind the Empire's so-called energy initiative. It's a front. The Empire's mining kyber crystals from Jedha to power a superweapon, the Death Star. That means the very energy that once lit the galaxy through lightsabers is now being weaponized into a beam of mass destruction. The Force itself is being perverted. But our buddy Lonnie begs for an escape. He's terrified. He knows the ISB is onto him. And for a moment, Luthen gives him hope. He even names Yavin, makes it sound like there's a way out. But Luthen lies. That's what he does. After giving Lonnie hope, we then see his lifeless body, blaster wound to the chest. That's when it hits us. Luthen killed him off screen, quiet, brutal, and deliberate. It wasn't out of hatred. It wasn't even a punishment. It was insurance. Lonnie knew too much. He'd seen the Death Star plans. He knew the network, the faces, the routes. And Luthen knew that if the Empire captured him, no one, not even someone like Lonnie, could withstand Imperial interrogation. And we actually see how much Luthen believes that in his own life a little bit later. So Luthen made the impossible choice. Silence Lonnie before the Empire could. It's a devastating but necessary betrayal, and it redefines everything we thought about Luthen's role in the rebellion. He's not a mentor, he's not a general, he's the scalpel in the shadows, doing the things no one else can stomach so others won't have to. Luthen isn't fighting for recognition, he's not even fighting for peace. He's fighting to be forgotten. He's chosen to be the monster in the shadows so others can walk in the light. And that's what makes him one of the most tragic, powerful characters in Star Wars. Back at the shop, Luthen prepares for the next threat. He knows Dedra Meero's coming, and she does, ready to expose the man behind the Access codename. But Luthen doesn't run, he stalls. He stalls long enough for Kleya to vanish. He gives away nothing. He plays every word like a game of Dejaric, buying time and staying unpredictable. And yes, if it comes to it, he's ready to die. The camera lingers on his hand moving toward a hidden artifact, maybe a blade, maybe something more symbolic. Either way, he's prepared to take the secrets of the rebellion with him. But Dedra doesn't let him. She doesn't want a martyr. She wants a prisoner, a bargaining chip. So after Luthen stabs himself, she calls in all of the ISB to try to save him. Meanwhile, Kleya's on a mission. After ordering full lockdown, destroying their encrypted transmitter and wiping all records, she heads to the Imperial Hospital where Luthen is being held. Her goal, erase any trace of their activity from the system. If the Empire digs into his files, everything falls apart. As she infiltrates the facility, we flash back 17 years earlier. Kleya as a child lost in a war zone until Luthen finds her, not as a recruiter, but as a rescuer. That moment forged something unbreakable. She didn't join the rebellion for the politics, she joined for him. And in the present, we see just how deep that loyalty goes. Kleya finds Luthen barely alive, hooked up to life support, and without hesitation, she pulls the plug. No hesitation, no dialogue, just a decision. She chooses the cause. She chooses silence. She chooses him, his legacy, his wishes, and his sacrifice. Luthen Rael dies not as a prisoner, but as a martyr with no one to remember him. And Kleya escapes into the night, carrying both their burdens. But what do you think? Was Luthen right to kill Lonnie? Could there have been another way? Or is this exactly the kind of impossible choice that leaders in a rebellion have to make? What about Kleya? Did she do the right thing pulling Luthen off life support? Was it mercy or strategy? And Dedra, is she unraveling? Is she still chasing access for the Empire or for herself? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear your take. The Empire is not in control, it just wants you to think that it is. Episode 11 of Andor Season 2, titled Who Else Knows, peels back the curtain, and what we find is panic, paranoia, and the slow unraveling of a regime built entirely on fear. We open in the immediate aftermath of Luthen Rael's death. His capture in Episode 10 and Kleya's heartbreaking decision to end his life have sent shockwaves through the galaxy. His death wasn't a failure, it was a sacrifice, one that Kleya now has to carry. She's exhausted, on the run, and more determined than ever to complete the mission. On Coruscant, we see the Empire scrambling to contain the breach. Dedra Meero is under immense pressure, not just from her peers in the ISB, but from someone higher up, Director Orson Krennic himself. He's here to interrogate her and clean house. Krennic's concern isn't Meero's career, it's the safety of Project Stardust. The knowledge that Luthen might have leaked intel about the Death Star has triggered full-blown crisis mode. Krennic demands answers. Dedra has few. Her once glowing reputation is in ruins, and now she's a liability. For the first time, she feels the full weight of the Empire's brutality turned inward. Meanwhile, Clea is back in motion. She's using every trick she learned from Luthen: dead drops, misdirection, silent codes. She sends a hidden message across a secure channel, one only a few people know how to read. That signal reaches Wilmon on Yavin 4, who relays it to Cassian, Melshi, and K2SO. They think it's actually from Luthen, and they go running. Now, this is not a mission authorized by the Rebellion. It's a response driven by loyalty. At the same time, leadership tensions inside the Rebel base intensify. Mon Mothma and others in the formal hierarchy are rattled by the fallout from Luthen's network. His rogue operations are now viewed as a cautionary tale. But Cassian, Vel, and Wilmon see it differently. To them, Luthen wasn't a warning, he was a blueprint. He understood what the fight truly demanded.
I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy.
And man, this rescue mission, once they get there, ooh-wee! I loved how K2SO, as always, cut through the tension with precision. His commentary walks the line between sharp and heartfelt, keeping the episode from drowning in its own weight. His presence reminds us this isn't about heroics, it's about people doing what must be done before it's too late. Alan Tudyk has to be the MVP. Love it anytime he gets to play K2SO, or just in general. I love him as an actor. And that rescue was action-packed. Man, I loved it. So much tension, and the pressure is building on all sides. At the end of this episode, the Empire's desperate to control the narrative, the Rebellion is desperate to stay alive long enough to matter, and in between, people like Clea and Cassian operating in the shadows, risking everything for something bigger than themselves. But what do you think? Did the Rebellion really need someone like Luthen to take the fall? Is the Formal Alliance missing the point by distancing themselves from his legacy? And what do you think about Clea now carrying the torch? What is her legacy in Star Wars? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Is the Rebellion finally ready to unite or split into two? This is it. The end of Andor, the end of Luthen, the end of innocence. For Cassian, the beginning of his final mission. Episode 12 doesn't just wrap up a season, it completes a story about sacrifice, identity, and the cost of building something greater than yourself. We open with isolation. Cassian and Clea, separated by space and grief, both trapped in the fallout of choices made seasons ago. The tone is quiet, bitter, and weary, but beneath the stillness, change. A rebellion cementing its next chapter. The Empire is unraveling. The fake infection story meant to cover Clea's hospital escape has spiraled. Coruscant is in lockdown. Panic spreads as the ISB desperately hunts ghosts. Meanwhile, the Death Star nears completion. Tarkin's consolidating power. Krennic is racing towards Project Stardust. And Partagaz, well, he can feel the walls closing in on him. Back on Yavin 4, the Rebel base is jittery. Cassian's unscheduled U-Wing arrival sets off alarms. Even K2SO is shut down as a precaution. Paranoia is everywhere. But when Mon Mothma enters, stripped of all pretense and rocking her Return of the Jedi do, it signals that this is no longer about secret meetings and senatorial diplomacy. The rebellion is real now, and she's all in. We get our final look at Saw Gerrera as he's watching Jedha's Kyber crystals reserves being harvested. A Jedi legacy dismantled to build a planet killer. Saw was right all along, but his descent into paranoia means he no longer trusts anyone. He's become a cautionary tale, a mirror of what Cassian could become if he lost sight of all hope. The tension here is peaking. Cassian pleads with Bail, Mon, and Admiral Raddus, as well as General Draven, begging them to act on Luthen's intel, to recognize the cost of inaction. But instead, the name itself of Luthen Rael is met with suspicion and disdain. It's a bitter moment. We know what they don't. Luthen died to give them a chance. From there, the episode crescendos into one of the most emotional montages Star Wars has ever given us. But I'll get to that a little bit later. Vel and Clea, former rivals, finally meet in full light. There's no secrets left. Vel repeats Luthen's old code phrase, "I have friends everywhere." Back at the ISB, Partagaz listens to Nemik's manifesto. The same words that once moved Cassian now echo through Imperial halls. Tyranny requires constant effort. In that haunting silence, Partagaz realizes the truth. The Empire's not stable, it's eroding from within, and he'll be forgotten by the very system he served. Let's talk about those final shots of this episode 12. Man, the final shots of Andor as a whole, leading into Rogue One, but I could not have been happier with this ending. We see Bix safe, with a child by her side. What is no doubt Cassian's child, the next generation growing up in a galaxy that might just be a little better because of Cassian. This is a child Cassian will never see. He will never meet. He doesn't get that moment, but we do. And in that, there's both heartbreak and hope. He gave everything so that someone else wouldn't have to. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't say my favorite moment of this episode. When B2 Emo appears, I cheered. We hadn't seen him since the first arc of the season, and I'll be honest, I was kind of getting worried. B2 was my favorite character in Season 1, and he remains one of my all-time favorite Star Wars droids. Seeing him alive and well was the emotional exhale I didn't know I needed. In a galaxy that so often breaks our hearts, B2 reminds us that some small pieces of love survive. And then comes that final quiet moment, that montage, Cassian watering his plants, a small human act. Maybe he thinks he'll return. Maybe it's symbolic, a final gesture of hope. Either way, he walks away from it all, into Rogue One, into legend. But what do you think? Was Cassian ever meant to survive this story? Could he have walked away? Or did he know from the start that his role was never about legacy? It was about lighting the fuse. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. What moment hit you the hardest? What scene made you believe in Star Wars again? And that brings us to the end of Andor Season 2, and what a journey it's been. From quiet tension to explosive rebellion, these final episodes didn't just stick the landing. They lit the fuse. Cassian's transformation is complete. Saw Gerrera is spiraling deeper into extremism, and Luthen's Cold War is now a full-on firestorm. This wasn't just a season of television, it was a masterclass in character, theme, and tension. But I want to know, what do you think? Which moment hit you the hardest? What surprised you the most? And what do you think this season says about the cost of rebellion? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your fellow rebels, because more people need to see how Star Wars storytelling should be done. As always, we would be honored if you would join us.